Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, preparing to face off against attempts to drive Munster out of Wales. At the moment, it doesn't look great. The Welsh coalition has just over 3,000 troops. We barely have 1,000. And you can see our forces are wedged in between. To the southeast, some of the forces that are coming in against us, and in the west, some forces that we were heavily defeating. We were preparing to conquer one of their counties. What I'm going to have to do is offer them a white peace, which they will accept. There's no point in being wedged in between two armies, or who knows what will happen. Somebody's going to walk in some wrong direction, or while I'm taking troops to do one thing, those forces could come and start sieging down Munster. It's best not to risk it, so I'm going to offer them a white peace. We're going to get out of that war. Those Munster forces in Wales, I'm going to pull them back to Munster. I'm going to call in some allies. I'm going to get some reinforcements. And we're going to go and look for a man and pull him out of retirement. He has tried to escape the violence, the chaos of the world, and we're going to pull him back in. First of all, our white peace offer. It will be accepted. It's a terror. We have a 63% war score. They have 500 soldiers. If we were left alone, we could have finished off this war and taken that region. We could still keep it going, pull our forces back, but I want to be able to devote myself to stopping this attempt to drive us out of Wales. We can come back. We can come back later on, so we'll offer that white peace. And I imagine that will be accepted shortly. In the background, you can see that we are withdrawing our forces out into the ocean. We don't need to worry too much about the army to our west, because I expect that by the time that we get close to them, that they will accept peace. I'm going to start calling in allies. Here is, I believe, my sister's mother-in-law, the Jarl of Iceland. We helped her in her war, kind of. We didn't do much. We actually kind of messed up pretty badly. But we helped her in her war to unify Iceland, so we're going to call her in. Am I calling her into the right war? I am indeed. I can only call in about 2 allies before we suffer a kind of a penalty cost. I think that cost us about 75. So who else do we have to call in? We've these guys with 1,000 troops. So at that stage, we would be putting together 2,700, I think. I'm going to call him in anyway. And he will also accept. And we do have one more alliance that we can call in. Minden. You might remember in the last episode, I said, remind me never again to form an alliance with Minden. We had an alliance because there was a betrothal between this character and our son, Crundmoil. Her father died. That alliance fell apart. And then when the betrothal kicked in and became a marriage, then we got the alliance with Minden back. Yay! So we can call in our what's this? Our son's brother-in-law. It's fine. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Our major issue is that we can only see half of the forces that are allied against us. Less than half. So I think to be on the safe side, I'm going to pull the army back to Munster. What I want to actually do is get it up to Tyrone. So we're gonna start the procedure. Now the worst thing that could happen, we do have to watch for that. There is that acceptance. We spend 10 prestige, which might block us from bringing in any other alliances. We do need to be careful. Somebody has come to our aid. We do have to be careful about this army coming in behind us. There is the Jarl of Iceland, and also troops from this region up here actually coming in. Are they going to hit us? Are they going to hit us, or are we going to get out in time? It looks like we're going to be hit. I don't think we're going to get out fast enough. No, it doesn't look like it. Well, that puts an end to a lot of those plans. That's a bit of a disaster. I thought we were going to get out in time. I thought we were having a great old time. Just saunter out. Well, nope. So that changes my plans a small bit. Do you know what? We'll call in Minden for the crack. It's a defeat. I was just about to say it's a defeat, but nothing too bad happened. Your councillor, Daemon, died. I had actually withdrawn him from service, but he was still with that army. If that army had made it back, had been stood down, he was 1 day from retirement. Daemon, dying since the last episode from his wounds, and he has been killed in battle. Will it tell me by who? The Chancellor of the prince that we're fighting in. So we're already down minus 6%. Our nephew has been taken hostage. Our forces are retreating back in the region that was under siege. I had expected these guys to go in and start sieging down that area. Well, there you go. We need to find a new councillor. That is the second generation of that family who has died in battle. Well, Daemon was the first to die in battle. His father died as a result of his wounds, I think because of the Welsh campaign, our last Welsh campaign, to actually take this region. So Loch Lane has lost 2 generations in taking Wales. God damn it. We don't have tremendous choices when it comes to replacing Daemon. We have Cathlan, our champion, who has an 11. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assign him, and then we're going to come to our spy master, and we're going to appoint a new spy master. And here we have Daemon's son. The new ruler, he's a 4, doesn't look like he's going to be fighting in... look like he's going to be fighting in our armies. We're going to assign him as our spy master. That'll keep him happy. And if we come to our... not our council, to our dungeon, we will find a rather interesting individual. Let's call him Gurrit. As you can see, his liege is the Hybert, who we were at war with up until recently. And if I am correct, this is the guy who wounded Daemon in the last episode. If we were brash, or if we were rash or hasty, or violent, we might execute this man for wounding Daemon, our great warrior. Instead, we're going to give him a second chance. Demand his conversion, recruit, and we are going to force him to serve in the armies and make amends for what he did. And the last thing we can do is take a look at that battle. Vastly outnumbered. Diarmid got in a tremendous amount of work. Sean, there's Philcu, Casper. All the usual ones. Poor old Cormac. So a big drop between Cormac and Daemon. Daemon, the poor man, I'd say, had to be carried into the battle. Ah, that's an absolute terror. That's an absolute terror. That's a tremendous pity. He was something else. Cormac, like I was saying in the last episode, now that he has had his eye taken out, he's technically blemished. How succession operated was that... well, I should say how kingship operated was that he cannot be a king who is satirized. That's a kind of one of the traditions, I suppose, that you'd have. So basically, people who had blemishes, being blind, having lost a limb, these were kind of the way it was described at the time. These individuals would quite often be either overlooked for succession, because there was a belief that they could be satirized by bards, or if they were serving as the king, in some circumstances, they could be actually removed. We know of a couple of historical examples where rulers were blinded by their enemies, and this removed them from the kingship. And we know other examples of individuals losing limbs in battle, but continuing on in the kingship. And it kind of depended on the context. So surviving an assassination attempt was kind of brave, and that would not lead to you being satirized. But being taken prisoner and being blinded by somebody, that was something that could lead to you being satirized. So rulers in those circumstances would be removed. So I imagine, considering that Cormac lost his eye in battle defending the righteousness of our claims to Wales, that he would be regarded as a hero, as a mighty warrior, maybe not a mighty warrior, and that he will continue on in the line of succession. He is currently our favoured heir. So what we're going to have to do is get these guys back and out into... I don't think I can do anything with them yet until they hit here, and we need to get them back to Munster. And I think, and thankfully we have the money for it, I think we're going to need to raise some mercenaries. Well, here is Gurrit telling us that he has absolutely no choice but to accept. He is now insular. Watch your step now, Gurrit. And yeah, I couldn't bring myself to contact Minden. I forgot about Count Serafino of Siena, so I've called him into the war instead. Minden, you just do whatever you want. If we come up and into our military, our champions, and let's force Gurrit, and I think we can allow everyone. Just let's see who we have in the list. We don't have a lot of knights, so we've those guys, and then if we come down here, Cahalon, Conligan, our son Crundmoil, and now we have Gurrit, who will serve as one of our lowest ranking knights, and he will continue to serve until either the King of Munster or God decides that he is no longer required to pay penance for what he did. Our forces have finally managed to get back onto something close to Irish soil. We're running into problems now back in Ossory for a variety of different reasons. I had the time slowed down there while I was waiting for them to cross up in this region, fearing that somebody would come down from the northern side. We see forces coming in the west. Here is Iceland. Hopefully they're not going to land in Wales. The other problem that we have is that we could see forces in Ireland attacking us. And here we have the might of the Welsh forces. Are they going out to sea? They're not. They're sieging down the area. Fantastic, fantastic. That gives us a slight bit of time to recover and to get an idea of what we want to do. With all of the alliances that we've managed to call in, we have, I think, 200 troops short of the alliance that we're going up against. We could actually call in Minden, and that would sort that out for us. Instead, we're going to get some mercenaries. And as the Welsh begin to siege down, I believe it's pronounced Morgan, we are going to hire the Welsh Band of Morgan to serve us. These are loyalists from within our territories. They are loyal to Munster. They're not. They're mercenaries, and they're loyal to money. They'll fight for anyone. But these Catholic Welsh from Morgan are going to join us and fight against the Catholic Welsh who are trying to take Morgan. So we're going to hire them. And we now have vastly more forces. I won't say vastly more. Actually, we've only about 500 forces, more than the alliance we're going up against. We might need to bring in Minden yet. However, there is one more thing we need before we can take the fight to the Welsh. A commander who will guarantee us a victory. So he's off wandering again. Buachan is a guest of the new chieftain of Loch Lane. He's wandering. He was in Slane for a while. I did actually see him in Slane recently. From what I can understand, Buachan was in the army when he sieged down. He led the siege of Ossory, and he sieged that down before Cruel MacDonlanna was able to siege down Port Loriga. Then he joined us in our siege of Wales. And then we forgot him. We left him behind. Or I think he may have escaped. He wanted to put this war and destruction behind him. But we called him back. We called him into our armies and he served in Iceland. And again we left him behind. We left him with some mercenaries. It was a special ops mission. And while we kind of ran around the place and had a bit of a disaster, he helped the Icelandic forces, who are now coming to our aid, to secure all of Iceland. And again, he wanted to put all of this violence behind him. He has a family now. I'm convinced that Buachan is the John Wick of medieval Irish siege warfare. In times of desperation, we keep reminding Buachan of the hooks that we have. Buachan will be put in charge of the army as it marches north once we've gotten everything set up, and we are going to have him siege at least one territory. I might try and get 2 sieges going at the same time, and we're going to try and cause as much destruction to the Welsh coalition as we can. We could probably send our army over there right now and attack them and bring this to an end. We're going to drag this out for as long as possible and cause as much damage as we possibly can. And so our forces begin marching north out of Munster. We have recruited a grand total of 2 soldiers. One of them being our new knight, Gurrit. And you know what? To be on the safe side, I decided that we would call in Minden, just to give us that bit of an extra advantage. The mercenaries are going to head for Antrim, and they're going to begin sieging down Carrickfergus. Buachan is going to lead our main army and all of our allies unnecessarily up to take the capital of Tyrone. We do have to be ready to march right back down, however, if the Welsh manage to take this region, which they will shortly, and if they come from Munster. We're also marching through the dead centre of the country, through Kildare, just past Dublin, because the Isles was sieging down some regions. They're actually they headed for Leinster. I think they're heading for our territory, but they're not sieging anymore, from what I can see. And our forces are just about to hit the region that the Welsh have conquered. Our allies have actually gone in against Antrim, which is going to be handy, because that will prevent attrition to the main army. Well, it won't prevent it, but it will reduce it significantly. We're in a war. We're in a war. One of our vassals has just died. Our army received a crippling blow in Wales. We get a pop-up. I wonder what the pop-up's about. From all my evenings watching stars, I have seen with my own eyes what I have only heard of before. Thank God Buachan is here. Cormac is not happy with us looking at the stars. Cormac, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. We can either gain 50 learning lifestyle experience and Cormac becomes a bit unhappy with us, or we will gain a lot of piety. We will get earthly focus for 10 years. It hasn't helped us in the past. Yeah, I think Cormac would quite forcefully talk us out of watching the Mars rover thing, whatever it is. The thing that they landed on Mars. That's what he's probably doing. He's on Twitch. He's watching the NASA updates. That's what he's doing. Cormac's asking him all these important questions. And about military affairs. And he's just like, he's not. He's watching the Endurance. The fool. We get a pop-up that we have lost our holding in Wales. We have lost the siege. How will the Welsh respond? They are indeed going out to sea with 3,000 troops. Now, are they going to come from Munster? Or are they going to try and break the sieges in the northern region? We can just about see the Welsh forces coming up around the coast. I've started to pull my troops out of the siege. I think we're going to suffer... We're not. I thought we'd suffer a bit of a siege here. I'm hoping that my my allies will follow me. I understand why Paradox want... what we're going to have to do as well before the battle begins is change. Now, Diarmid actually also is a military engineer. But you know what? I like Buokon. I understand why Paradox wants your allies to act autonomously, and they don't want you to be able to kind of command your allies and tell them where to go. But it does create a tremendous amount of difficulty, I feel, in trying to actually get them to go anywhere or to do anything. I couldn't leave enough troops behind to continue that siege because there was already sieging armies there. But as soon as I moved, those sieging armies moved. And they've actually stopped now as well, which is rather ridiculous, but okay. See, what I would hope is that these guys would come up and that... okay, nope. And that we would all move in. Okay. Those troops are setting off. Some of them are coming in, awkwardly. Failku was wounded. I think we should be okay here. Gurrit was wounded by Ragnall. Their champion Conan has slaughtered somebody. Crunmoil was maimed by Conan. Our son. This Conan knight did a bit of trouble. Did a bit of damage. But the siege continues. We should have Tyrone shortly. And then I think we can maybe move on and take Antrim. This won't contribute to our war score in any way, make, shape or form. I just want to do as much damage to this alliance as I possibly can. We have a new lifestyle learning perk. I will get our forces to march in this direction. And we'll see. They can march through this region without suffering a penalty, but not the other guys, who seem to have lost their commander as well. Who's the next captain of the Welsh band? This guy. So let's deal with the after effects of that battle, and let's deal with that lifestyle learning perk. The perk is quite a simple one. We're still pushing for the scholar trait. So sanctioned loopholes does absolutely nothing for us, but it's going to get us closer to the scholar trait, which gives us learning +5 and increased development growth. And if we see the results of the battle, Diarmid, who was put in command, of the attack once we knew that there were forces coming in, or in command of the defense. With 33, Caspar on 30. Ragnall was killed by Condlagon. And then, of course, we just completely outnumber them. In terms of knights, Failcu was injured. One of the knights of the Welsh band. So here's the captain of the Welsh band, and he died of cancer. So he must have died during, just shortly before the battle. Crundmoil, our son Crundmoil, has been given an eye patch. They drove his eye out. God damn them all. Everyone's losing eyes in this. And then we just have this big heap of names. And here, I won't say close to the bottom, close enough to the bottom, is Gorrit. He has been wounded, but he's going to recover from it. Doing penance for wounding Daemon that led to his death. The Welsh have recuperated and are coming back, but they're coming in against... Our armies are all over the place. I think they're going to end up going in against the Welsh band first of all before anybody gets to them. I kind of hope that they will, because we have some reinforcements going out. I'm going to lift that siege and bring these guys in to help. Again, Cormac has to tell us to take our head out of the books, to stop doing calculations on the age of the world. We're threatening to tell everyone to blow open this whole conspiracy. He wouldn't be too happy with that. A reasonable point, 25 lifestyle experience, 250 piety or some prestige, or I think we'll... Do you know what? I think we're doing a good job by just staying out of this. Staying in our tent, reading our books, watching the NASA Twitch channel. We're doing fine. I think that's what we'll do. We'll just stay out of this, and we'll let Buachan and Diarmid and Cormac take care of the battles. Everything is looking pretty good. Ossory is under siege. I just want to see where they're bringing these forces into. What we could do, because our numbers are a bit all over the place at the moment. And Hereford. That's not a massive army. If we leave the mercenaries behind and send... I don't want to split the army up too much, because we have another 900 forces coming in here, and I have no idea where they're going. For now, we'll march the lot of them back down. It'll keep everyone together. We'll see where these guys are. If this army, however, comes across the point, I would like to be here to meet them. So do you know what? We'll park ourselves here for a second, and we'll see what they're going to do. No, I was hoping they'd come across us. They're not. That's fine. That's fine by me. They're going out to sea. They're going out in some other direction. We'll take this army. We will change the commander back to Buachan. And we'll send him in. The Welsh numbers have been severely depleted. Their alliance is now down to 1,700 troops. Partly because of the borderline extermination of this army that came across. They only had a single knight. And it was basically who could rack up as many kills as possible. There he is, Gorrit, now turned on his former employers to do penance. And of course, yeah, we just have a huge number of knights. What the Welsh have done is they've put out to sea and they've come down in this direction. I think they're probably coming back to try and begin a siege of Munster again. With any luck, we will get this region sieged down, and we'll be able to send our armies down. Buachan will hopefully outsiege them. We'll be able to get our army down in time. We'll see how it's looking. Buachan just made an all-merciful jump in the siege progress there. This is why. He didn't want to come out of retirement, but this is why we got him out of retirement. Buokon, this is what you're good at. This is what you were born to do. They are catching a bit. We should be able to finish quite shortly. I think we'll be able to march our troops down. And we'll be able to break their siege of Urvuan. We should probably have begun doing it a bit earlier, because we do have an entire country to cross. Somebody has taken Antrim for our coalition. We're just going to send the forces down as they are. Do you know what? It's entirely possible that we won't make it down in time to lift the siege of Port Loriga. Our allies have decided not to follow. That's great, guys. Thanks very much. So now they're coming. Just a bit too late, just a bit too late. We left it a small bit too late. There you go. They have taken our son Edoin hostage. We have progressed in a bit too far. I don't think we might be able to get out of that. They've captured one of our courtiers. They've killed another of our courtiers. They've taken our steward hostage. Things were looking good there for a while. They're now up to a 70 war score. I think if we can get everyone in... Oh, they've realised they're under a bit of trouble. Kildare, of all things, is going in against them, I think. Gormla was imprisoned. I didn't even realise that. Thanks for releasing her. Fair play, Kildare has gone in against them, of all things. Do you know what? Let them fight. Let them fight. I think our allies are heading in ahead of us. Now we'll wander in at the last minute. Oh, lords. Apparently our daughter had a weakness and she's been healed of it. I didn't even know that. May we grow strong. Dervla. We will... send Buokon down to lift the siege as only he knows how. Our poor son... Crunmoil gives us a granddaughter to secure that alliance with Menden. Kathleen may grow to be strong and wise. Oh, lads, there's a ton of things happening. It's going all over the place. There's a killer in our midst. The smell hits me before the doors opened, a heavy and meaty odour that permeates the area. It is the stench of the newly dead. Another murder, my lord. Dovdol Creach wipes his bloody hands on an apron as he stands up after looking over the body. We must stop this senseless killer. I'd say it's the Welsh. I think it might have been the Welsh. Right. A murder mystery in the middle of a war. Let's see what our options are. So we can either bury the body and forget the travesty, which we're not going to do. I will scour the castle for this murderer. If he's watching Twitch, I don't think he's going to put in much effort. So as my court physician, you should study the bodies. So I think both of these options start an investigation. So we will go with that. My poor son, while Chiron has fallen ill with leprosy. While he might live for many years, his deformity will make him shunned and mistrusted and satirized. Even I cannot suppress my disgust at the thought of lesions growing all over his skin. The physician wants to know how my son should be treated. Be cautious. Time has come for drastic measures. Drastic measures. Greatly reduced disease. You see, Melchiron, everything's Everything's fine. You look grand. Let's see if we can get our steward back from the Welsh. Will we? No. Let's just appoint a new steward in his place for now. The numbers are getting worse. Condlagon has enough on his plate, and in he goes as our new steward. That last battle was a bit all over the place, because of all things, Kildare, there should be a massive list. Of all things, Kildare went in. No major deaths on their side. Conan is still doing awful damage. He's still wounding and maiming people. He hasn't actually killed anyone else since. But where is Gurrit? Gurrit is my main interest. He mightn't even have been in this battle. There he is. He's doing something at least. How many of our wives did they take prisoner? Bardov has been released. I'm not giving them a penny until this war ends. I'm not giving them a penny. Doesn't that just look the epitome of the symbol of God's infinite forgiveness? When you think of the infinite forgiveness of God, that's what you think about. There he is. Yeah. How commendable. On the one hand, wait, what the hell is going on? On the one hand, I suppose fair play to them. On the other hand, lads. So our allies have just gone off and done their own thing. They've gone over and started sieging Morgan back down. The only problem is, okay, that's great and all. I didn't send them. Laura died in captivity. I didn't even realize he'd been captured. Ah, now. So we gained 30 stress. Poor Laura. Died in captivity at 58. Is that Fingüine? So I think historically Fingüine would have been the ruler of Munster around this time period up until 902. Our poor brother. It looks like we're going to mop up the Welsh. They're sending down a grand total of 244 soldiers. The problem is, if they had a stronger army, if they had like 1,500, like where are we now? How are we doing here with our numbers, and the main bulk of our allies just vanished, effectively. So yeah, do you see? Yeah, we actually have to pull these guys down to here. Hopefully we'll be able to avoid a battle. And are the Welsh then going to do something stupid like lift that siege and come up to us? No. That's good, at least. I think this is pretty much the bulk of the Welsh forces now, what they have left. So we're going to continue our siege here, and we're going to go up and we're going to say hi to them. Oh, no. Of all the pop-ups that we have gotten in the last couple of minutes, that is the worst one. Diarmid, the nephew of Carúl mac Donlanna. He was 5 years in our prisons. And then when we took Ossory, we installed him as the ruler. He has died from bubonic plague. Our marshal, our greatest knight, up until now, undoubtedly, he has been our greatest knight. He was even commanding some of the sieges, along with Buchan. Diarmid has died at just 49 years of age. That is the worst blow we have suffered so far. His son is 8, so it's going to be a long time before he comes to a position where he can get a position on our court, and he's going for the education focus. Great, yeah, that's what we need. Oh well, that is an absolute disaster, and it is our marshal's position that is up for grabs. Yeah, I can't see why we would give it to anybody else other than Casper. That's a tremendous pity. And into January of 900, I got freaked out because I thought these were some of my allies. I thought they were doing something silly. They've managed to siege down Morgan. So yeah, now we've just suddenly gone from minus 51 to plus 43. Buachan has successfully sieged down Port Loriga. We will put the army under the command. Do you know what? We'll put it under the command of the King of Munster. And we're going to go and we're going to... Oh, they're running. They know what's up. They know what's up. That's even worse, is because we are catching them piecemeal now. Our mercenaries are going to be leaving soon, so we better get as much use out of them as we can. Our forces have captured the High Chieftain. Our forces have captured the High Chieftain. We will put this main army back under Buachan. It has to be Buachan. It's always Buachan. Take those two armies and we will march them and we will siege down their capital. There was two quick battles there, one after the other. Caspar now leading the kill list now that he is our highest ranking knight. Condlagon got another kill, so Condlagon could actually be one of our most noted knights. Look at the list that he is putting together. So he's not high up in terms of kills, but he is most certainly getting the most named kills. Gurrit, there's a lot of work for you to do to redeem yourself, and that's not the type of work you want to be doing. And then same old in the second battle. Ah, good man, good man. Well done. So the attempts to drive us from Wales have actually created a bit of trouble from what I can see. The worst thing is our allies are going to get in and they're going to siege these places down before we get them. But the Welsh are down to 100 troops. A couple of wars have broken out. I think our attempts... The whole thing started because we tried to take this county. And that has actually allowed David to expand. I can't remember what it took, but I just got a pop-up that it successfully... Well done, Minden. Well done. Minden's finally following after us. Caspar has increased control somewhere. There is a ton of control to be restored in places. Murders at Court. Pray for the Nameless Dead. That's a heavy metal album title if I've ever heard of one. Parts of a body were found this morning, my lord, my court physician, Dovdal Creach, says, gesturing to the table before us. Blood pools on the table around small mounds of flesh. Strings of tissue rests in dark ooze. As you can see, it is not a whole human. Not enough to identify them. So we have a lot of different options. Make sure everyone's accounted for at all times. We would get restricted vassal movements for 5 years. Direct vassal opinion goes down by 10. Double the guards. Has anyone seen anything? I need your help. Well, it says it. Look, it says pray. I will pray for the victim. I'm helping. Our contract with a heap of Welsh soldiers has just ended. Do you know what? I don't think we're going to be able to siege down this area. The war score is actually increasing so quickly. We're up to 92% war score, 93. I don't think we're going to be able to siege it down. So what we can pretty much hope to do is maybe come in against these guys. We'll lose 100 troops. Or is this going to be one of these? Are we going to be dancing around the place trying to get them for a while? Looks like it. Yeah. It's, guys, there's no point. It's 94%. You can't beat me. I've already won. You're already dead. This is what the next half an hour is going to be. Fine, whatever. Fine. I don't care. I don't care. I didn't even want to kill you anyway. It doesn't make a difference. Oh wait, maybe now they're actually... I was lying, I do want to kill you. We've hit something. We've hit something. Let's take our lifestyle perk, because it's pretty much just to click on that and to become a scholar in the middle of battle. We become scholarly. And there you go. 4 years. 4 years. He loses his claim on Morgan. He'll pay me 60 quid. Boys, oh boys, war is profitable. And we're going to gain 15 prestige. You absolute arsehole. I know when I am defeated. No, you didn't, because you kept running. It seems I am left with no choice but to comply with your demands. So be it. Let's just take a quick look at that battle, which brought the whole thing to an end. There you go. Is he down here having done nothing? Gurrit, if you did nothing. Gurrit. Look, there wasn't... Yeah, sure, look, Crunmoyle didn't do anything either. There wasn't a lot you could do. Good job, all of you. As much as I would love to execute the devil. As much as I would love to execute the devil. We'd better ransom him. I did check to see if we could torture him. We will ransom that guy for 30 quid. And then we're in a spot of bother in trying to ransom these guys back. Is it not letting me at the moment? Oh, because of course he's yeah, this guy is thinking about a whether or not he will accept his being ransomed. And once that's done, we'll be able to come back to them and get our family members back. Hopefully it won't cost us 130 quid. Because if it does, we'll have lost everything. Before that last war started, I checked to see if there were any good alliances that I could establish through marriage. There weren't. A couple have popped up since. Here is the Count of Brabant. His wife passed away from the Great Pox 12 years ago. This alliance will bring us in 1,200 troops, so we'll send that proposal. And then we have Nula. I think we might hold off for a while, because again, I'm not seeing any other great... There's a couple of either very old men or pagans, which are very far from where we are at the moment. So I don't think it would help us too greatly. Honau, the heir to Honau. This is usually what I do, is I just go down through the marriage list and look at things like this. Do you know what? Sure. It'll get her out of court. Does she have any tremendously good stats that we might want to keep in court? Do you know what? I think we'll keep Nula. I think we'll keep her at court. For a short while. Our son Eóganacht has been returned to us. I have put him back in as our steward. And I'm going to organize a marriage for him to a very high stewardship figure. The daughter, a Cumbrian. Who's she the daughter of, actually? I didn't even check that. But these are the guys in... Well, the Cumbrians are in... what would that be? Southwest Scotland. They are the culture that has spread into the northeast of Ireland that we have just had battles with. So here's an attempt to try and make some bit of a return to normality, I suppose. I don't know what we would put it. And so, on the 1st of January 901, I think that is as good a place as any to bring the episode to an end. We've managed to retain our Welsh holdings. We've delivered a sizable defeat to the alliance that stood against us, which I think has tremendously destabilized the region. You can see there in the bottom left, I've just began construction of a marketplace, or a trading outpost. So that's going to take 20 months, and it costs 75 gold. So before that I had about 300 and something gold. Before the war began, I had 300 and something gold. So we didn't lose all that much, considering how expensive it was to prosecute that war. It was costly in terms of manpower. We're down to less than 900 troops. It was costly in terms of time. It cost 4 years. Somebody could get it into their head to attack us and raid us right now. Connacht has been driven out. The Isles and Kildare have united, and the Kildare is making... I think the Isles are helping Kildare in their defense. Do you know what? I have no idea what the Isles are doing. They're attacking Kildare in Connacht's claim for Eóganacht. So I'm wrong. Connacht has actually brought the Isles in on their side. I thought the Isles were fighting with Kildare. It looks like it's a massive alliance to tear Kildare apart. The Isles are there. I thought that was Kildare's army. That's Meath. So Meath has also come in, and it is attacking for Kildare itself. So we're going to see our neighbour ripped apart. And what has happened is that his father has died sometime during this episode, but we were too busy to notice. His only son inherited everything, but the only problem was that he was 6 years of age. His 2 older brothers died before him, and possibly if that hadn't happened, there would have been some greater stability in the region. So with all the anarchy that we suffered in this episode, Munster has managed to hold itself together, while the lands of Kildare, or the great kingdom of Kildare, is being ripped apart. What are we going to do in the next episode? It doesn't make a difference, because whatever I say now isn't going to happen. What I want to do is get the numbers back up to something respectable. There isn't a lot of areas in Ireland that we can go and raid, because the place has been hit so badly at the moment. Possibly we will look to returning to Wales and trying to raid down those regions. Thank you very much for checking out these episodes. Everyone seems to be enjoying the series. As always, check out the Tip Volume 2 mod. The links are in the description. There'll be new updates as soon as I finish this series. It'll be a short one. I'm thinking maybe another 4 episodes. I'd like to see out Cormac's rule. So I'd like to see out Dunica MacDuff Barbarian's rule, and then have Cormac rule and see out his rule. We'll see how it goes. It might be 4 to 6 episodes or something. I remember in my last series when I said that I wasn't going beyond the year... I can't remember what year I said I wasn't going to go beyond, but I went well beyond it. But thanks for checking out the episodes. Glad you're enjoying them. If you have any questions, post them in the links below. Like I was saying, the Tip Volume 2 mod is going to be updated with new changes as soon as this series comes to an end. So if there's any part of the world that you would like to see worked on or expanded on, or if you have any questions as to what the mod is intending to do for certain parts of the world, you can leave a question for Mandead in the comment section. He's also hanging around on the Maniacal Link Discord page, so go and check that out. The links are in the description, and you can bother him there. You can just DM him and constantly at him with new requests and changes for Ireland or for whatever part of the world you want to see fixed. Thank you very much for joining me on this rather hectic episode as we ran around Wales and Ireland and more parts of Wales, and basically the game ends the same way it started. Talk to you again in future.